All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 14 of the Mafia Members Podcast, a podcast for the Bills Mafia by the Bills Mafia. Episode 14. We'll talk some more updates from training camp. Got some good news, got some concerning stuff that I see is continuing to be a problem for the Bills. We'll look into the schedule. We'll kind of look at we'll break down kind of this episode and the next couple episodes, portions of the schedule. So we'll look at the kind of the first three games, and we'll kind of do it in segments like that for the next couple episodes. Obviously, big news in the NFL this week, or lack thereof, surrounding Brandon Ayuk. So we'll kind of talk a little bit about that, and he's obviously wanting out, and they're trying to get rid of him. So we'll look at some landing spots and kind of why I don't think he'll be in Buffalo. We'll touch on our season series, because that's filling up quick, and kind of the other thing that I've started this week was the first one where we do a live episode on Wednesdays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, we'll get into some fan questions as well. We got a couple questions to answer. And yeah, that'll bring us to the end of the show. And as always, go like, subscribe, all that stuff. Mafia Members Podcast on YouTube and Twitter and all social media. Check out the link in the bio on Twitter to get yourself one of these Mafia Members t-shirts. And with that being said, let's get into it.
The Mafia Members Podcast.
All right, everyone. So like we said, episode 14. The first thing we'll touch on today is the training camp and kind of some updates there. I think the thing that's kind of standing out the most right now, according to beat writers and kind of what you see coming out of the Bills camp right now, is the fact that Shakir and Kincaid seem to always be getting open. There's something about this group, right? Not the group, those two guys in particular. I don't know if they just have like an amazing chemistry with Allen right now, if they're just that good of route runners, if our defense is bad, who really knows. We'll kind of see as the preseason starts and we go up against some actual competition. But essentially those two guys are always open. So it kind of is giving a little bit of, I don't want to say relief, or like it's easing the concerns a little bit of who's going to be replacing Diggs as Josh's go-to option. And because right now it seems like he's going to have two of them. Shakir and Kincaid are just those guys right now. We all know, as someone said today, that Shakir is looking like Cole Beasley when Cole Beasley was in the offense in that slot area, just shifty, finds open space and just kind of is able to get off the line quick enough that he's just open, and he can kind of it's looking like he can kind of get lost and just kind of float into an open space, and Josh Allen is able to find him every time and throw something on target and let him get the rest, which we know is kind of what his strength is. He's a guy who doesn't drop the ball, and he's a guy who gets the yards after the catch. So that's very promising for the Bills. Obviously, having that kind of go-to guy, looking like a guy that, like, on third down when you need a 3rd and 6, he's going to be the guy who's getting the ball a lot. For Kincaid, kind of the same thing. Kind of the guy who can be the Travis Kelce for Josh Allen, and just kind of knows how to read the defense. He's a good route runner, which we know we've seen last season. But he just kind of continuing to grow in that role, just kind of being able to slice defenses apart and just kind of always get to space, get the ball in space, and he's sure-handed. He does not drop the ball. So those are kind of some positives. And as far as our targets are concerned, I think those two are going to get the majority of them just based on that. So I think it's kind of easing the concerns that we had about losing Diggs. Obviously, we'll see come actual competition if that does still hold up. But I think because like we said last episode or the episode before, it's real easy for the social media team to make the guys look good in practice. They kind of always do that regardless of if the team is good or not. But I think it's all good signs coming out of the offense, at least. The other one who continues to shine is Keon Coleman. He just looks like he's going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. Crazy catch ability, catch radius is there, hands. He's able to get the separation that people didn't think he would be able to get. He definitely looks like I saw him doing the doing like a cone drill, like a zigzag. He kind of this way, and then turn and catch the ball. He was kind of like I forget what the drill's called, but he was doing one of those, and he looks really slow doing that. But then when you watch him on the field when he's lined up against a Rasul Douglas or a Christian Benford or Kaiir Elam, whoever he's up against, he seems to be able to get the separation that he needs. So I don't know if it's something that he just looks slow on film, or he is going slow, just trying to figure out the mechanics of how to break down and cut out of his routes and stuff like that. Maybe he just goes slower in the drills to hammer down the mechanics of it. Maybe who really knows, because he does look slow. So when you're sitting there watching him, you're like, man, like, sure, he can catch the ball, but can he do it? And then you watch him in the practice, and he's nothing but highlights. He's made incredible catches, toe tap catches, just always always seems to be with the ball. I think he's going to be a real problem in the red zone for sure for defenses this year. Um, I think we're going to be watching a very very high powered offense this year with Buffalo, and I say that with a little bit of hesitancy just because you don't want to be too blinded by your own fandom and like have your own team's blinders on, and just saying, oh yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl, we're the best team, da 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 da. You don't want to be like that. You want to try and look at things objectively, um, but it just seems that like he's there all the time. Whenever Allen throws it to him, he's catching it, and I think that means we're in for a big season from Keon Coleman. Still gonna kind of keep our expectations low, but I think we're getting 600-700 yards out of him this year, a handful of touchdowns, and I mean, what else can you ask for from your rookie wide receiver? I mean, unless you're expecting him to do a Jamar Chase or Jefferson like rookie season, which you can't expect that because those were crazy seasons for rookies. But I do think we can expect big things from him. Definitely not, if not this year, definitely next year will be kind of his season to be the wide receiver one. But watching the offense have so much success, that comes with a little bit of worry about how the defense is going. And I've been saying it, and I'll keep saying it. We need to figure out the safety position, especially if Cole Bishop is injured. We have is Damar Hamlin going to be a starting safety on our team? I mean, I know he did it. I know he filled in a couple seasons ago and played pretty well. And I think he was even like one of the leaders in tackles on our team. But man, I don't have confidence in a safety duo of Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp. Like those guys are the guys you put in when your starters get injured. Those guys are, I feel like those guys might be backups, expected to be a starter, or given starting roles, especially with someone like Justin Simmons out there. We could just sign him at this point. Like, we wouldn't need to do anything. We could just sign him and bring him in and instantly change the whole look of the defense, change the whole look of it. There's so much we could do if we had him. Of all players, all edge rushers, corners, linebackers, interior D linemen, whatever you want to talk about, of all players available, Justin Simmons is the guy that we need to get. Obviously, it's way too late now. But I just don't see how he's sitting there in free agency right now. He's one of the top, I don't know, I think PFF had him in the top 5 of safeties in the league. If not, he's definitely a top 10 guy. And no team is taking him. I don't know, did he bet on himself and lost the bet? Because he didn't want to re-sign in Denver. And now what? He's just sitting there, not going to play football this year. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But I think the Bills, maybe they're waiting for preseasons to start and they can get him at a price that they can afford because they don't have much cap space. Maybe they're trying to restructure some guys so that they can get a little bit more cap space to make a move or something, because they definitely need to fix that safety room. And the other concern that just kind of creeped up these past couple days is Tyler Bass. We have a problem at at kicker. I don't know what happened to him. End of last season, going into the playoffs last year, and now training camp this year, he's missing field goals that he made. He was a guy who made field goals all the time, and now for some reason he just can't figure it out. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if it's a mental thing because he missed the big field goal last year in the playoffs, and that kind of sent him into a tailspin, and he just can't figure it out, or I don't know what the deal is. I don't even know if there's who you're going to bring in to fix the problem. Like I haven't looked at the kickers that are that are available, but we're going to have to figure something out because it is going to cost us a game or two where Tyler Bass is going to just not be able to make a field goal that he should be able to make and that he did make in his first handful of seasons. But yeah, those are the biggest concerns right now. I kind of don't really have concerns at all on offense. We're going to have a top 3 tight end pairing. We have one of the most underrated running back in the league in James Cook. That guy's an absolute machine. Last season, with fewer touches, had more yards than Breece Hall. Breece Hall, the guy that everybody is saying is next to CMC, he's probably the second best running back in the league. It's a battle with him and Bijan Robinson, and I don't really think people are ranking Derrick Henry that high just because of his age, and kind of Baltimore's never really been good for running backs since Ray Rice was around. They've kind of had a bad 5-6 years from a running back perspective, and he's old, so I don't think he's as elite of a running back as he was anymore, or as he used to be. So I think that those are your top 3 guys, kind of universally, is Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, and Breece Hall. But James Cook is right there with them, and for whatever reason, not getting the love that he deserves. Just put on the tape from the Dallas game last year and watch what he can do. So yeah, I think, and I think we have the second best quarterback in the league. So offensively, we're fine. Defense and special teams are going to let us down again, and unless we do something to fix it, we really gotta sort that out, because I can't do it. I can't do it again, of watching the team just waste or ruin. Waste is a strong word because it's not a waste of a season, but ruin another year of this prime elite level quarterback play that we're getting from Allen. We're going to do well. We're going to do all this, and then there's going to be something from on the defensive side of the ball, or Tyler Bass is going to miss a field goal, or something is going to happen outside of Josh Allen's control, and Josh Allen will get blamed for another loss, and all hell will break loose. If that happens, get rid of McDermott. Get rid of, at this point, if we're not going to address the issues that we have, at this point, we might as well just get rid of Brandon Beane as well. As much as it pains you to say that as a Bills fan, because Beane has been so great. But if you're not fixing the problems of the team as the general manager, if you're not getting your team any better, eventually you are the guy who's on the hook for it. So I think if not getting a safety and not fixing the kicker problems, ruin the Bills this year, ruin our season this year. Get rid of everybody. Keep Joe Brady and get rid of everybody else. Like there's no sense in trying to run it back next year with the same team when we'll be making the same mistakes. This season is kind of maybe a little bit of a pass just because of of expectations heading into this year are a little bit lower, but I mean at the same time if you lose Stephon Diggs and your offense doesn't miss a beat and it's the defense again letting you down because you didn't fix any of your problems, I'm sorry. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. And we as Bills fans can't allow it. You can't allow it to happen again. It just, for my own mental health, I cannot watch that happen again. But I think overall, my biggest takeaway from this training camp so far has been how loose, laid back, everyone's just having fun. It's just a good vibes team all around. We saw with the Josh Allen mic'd up clips during the red and white matchup and some of their other stuff that he's just having the time of his life back there, and I think that's exactly what the Bills need. They need to go back to just having fun playing football again, and I think that's what's standing out the most so far from training camp. So then after that we'll talk. Okay, so we'll get into a little bit of the schedule. So our first couple games. So the first 3 games that we got were host Arizona, we're at Miami, and then we host Jacksonville. I think we're going to start out 2-1 in those first 3 games. I think we'll beat Arizona. I just don't think they're that good. I think maybe if we were, I think it's kind of a good thing that we're going to play them week 1, because I think maybe if you gave them a couple weeks to figure out the Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison connection, I think that might be a little bit scary. But I don't know. I just don't think they're that good of a team. I don't think they can hang with some of the best teams in the league, and Buffalo is definitely one of the best teams in the league. I just don't think they're up to our caliber. So I think we win that game. Now, that's not to say Bills do have a very bad tendency of playing down at their opponent's level. We saw it last year with the Giants, with the Patriots, Denver. Some of those games that we should have won, definitely should have won, but we didn't. So I can't see us losing to Arizona, but I can see us struggling against Arizona, especially being week 1. You want to iron everything out. So I think it's a good way to start the season. And then week 2, short rest, Thursday night in Miami. I think that's a game that we lose. Miami's always good. The past couple seasons, Miami's very good early in the season. I think we dodged a bullet by playing at nighttime. But Miami's going to be ready to go. They're essentially just running it back. They lost a couple players on defense, but essentially just running it back. Speaking of safeties, Javon Holland is not there. Poyer's not there apparently either. Both injured or whatever. So, but they're always good early in the season. They're going to be playing at home. So I think it'll be a tough game in Miami. I don't think they're going to score 70 on us or anything like that. Like it's going to be a tight game, but I think. Sorry, just got a sneeze coming. Um, but yeah, they're they're also our biggest competition in the division. Um, so we'll be 1-1 after 2 weeks, and then I think we finally figure out Jacksonville for week 3. Um, we haven't played that well against Jacksonville um, in recent memory. Um, I think that like I remember they beat us in London last year. I think they beat us the year before that as well. They're just kind of a team that always has they have our number somehow, some way. So I think we kind of got to get that to stop to end this year. I think they're taking a little bit of a step back from what they were last year. We won't be playing them in London. I think that's an advantage for us. We will be at home. That's an advantage for us. So I think there's a couple things that go in our favor. So I think in those first 3 games, like I said, we'll be 2-1. We'll get a win against Arizona, a win against Jacksonville, and a loss to Miami. But who knows? Very, very well could be 3-0. Very well could go into Miami and beat them. Obviously, Allen's record against Miami is what it is. His stats against Miami are among some of the best, like in history for a quarterback versus any single opponent. His numbers are some of the best. So I definitely could see it happening. I gave them the benefit of the doubt and said that they'll get one on us this year. Part of it for sure is me wanting them to win that game so we can see how crazy their fans are going to be, how over the top celebratory their fans are going to be, just to watch it when we play them again, for us to pound the snot out of them, and then kind of everyone can remember who the Bills really are. But yeah, so I would like. I mean, obviously, I would like the Bills to be 17-0, but I think I would like to see. I'd like to see a good game against Miami. I think they're going to win, but I think it will be funny to watch their season crumble, as it usually does late in the season when they can't figure out how to beat good teams, and as all the other teams are off to slow starts and trying to figure themselves out, they can go out there and score 70 points all they want, and then when it boils down to it, they'll crash and burn. So hopefully we get another entertaining season out of the Dolphins as well. Okay, so the last point we wanted to talk about today was the drama surrounding Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, his name has been. I don't know if there's a team that hasn't been rumored to be in on Brandon Ayuk. I think the issue. Well, obviously, from a Bills perspective, it's not going to happen. We just don't have the cap space for it. But I think one of the issues that San Fran is going to face if they're trying to trade him, unless they're just willing to get like a whole bunch of draft picks for him, then that's fine. Then lots of teams can do that. But if you're trying to get a player back for him, one of the issues that San Fran will run into is that you're not going to be like, their roster is stacked. They have one of the best rosters in all of football. So the issue is, what are you giving to San Fran? You can give them, because it doesn't make sense for us to trade a Keon Coleman or a Khalil Shakir to get Ayuk. I don't think they would take Shakir for Ayuk anyways. It doesn't, like, they wouldn't do that. You're not. Why would they? I guess maybe if it was a Keon Coleman or like someone who's back on their still on their rookie deal that they could take back in, but you're not going to offer them anything in a position of need. They don't have a need in any position. Like we can't offer them. What do they? They don't need anything. We can't offer them help on defense. They have a way better defense. Maybe not. No, like not even a Kincaid. They have Kittle. Like, and you wouldn't want to do that if you were Buffalo, anyways. So I think their problem is going to be trying to find a trade partner who can offer them something, because no team is going to want to give up their number one wide receiver, but that's what it's going to take to get Brandon Ayuk off your team. Number one wide receiver and probably a draft pick. If San Fran is willing to just accept draft picks, then sure, you can probably find someone. But they're such a stacked team that it's hard to make a deal with them, because you can't offer them a need. They have all their needs are met. So particularly when it comes to Buffalo, we don't have the money. We don't have the players. But one thing we do have is draft capital. So maybe, if anything, maybe he sits out this is the only way that it kind of makes sense for him to be in Buffalo, is he plays one more season with San Fran under the rookie deal, gets the franchise tag. Bills trade for him after that for the 2025 season. And so we take Ayuk, maybe give him someone, a Dawson Knox, a something, if, somebody, a player, and a whole bunch of draft picks, or maybe just a whole bunch of draft picks, because we got lots of draft capital. So that's kind of the only way that it makes sense for the Bills. But other than that, I don't see it happening to Buffalo. For him coming to Buffalo, there was all the reports of him going to New England and Pittsburgh, I think, is the other team that's kind of tops in the running. But those guys don't have, so they must be willing to just accept a whole bunch of draft picks, which I guess if you don't need any players, to just accumulate as much draft picks as you possibly can. That's not a bad strategy, because you can kind of help build your team for down the road as well. Take a shot on a couple rookies, and kind of help grow them into NFL ready players. But overall, I'm just ready for the whole thing. Like, play or don't, man. Like, either show up to practice or don't. Sit out for the season or don't. Like, I'm just ready for the whole thing to be over with. Like, if the first trade that he gets offered, he better be like, yep, I'm going. Like, don't be sitting here and like picking and choosing where you want to go, man. Like, just end the whole thing. Accept a trade and just move on. Like, it's so annoying. Every day there's a new thing. Oh, is he going here? Oh, is he going here? Everybody, where's he going? Where's he? Like, treating it like it's like Justin Jefferson getting traded or something. Like, he's a good wide receiver, but he's not like I don't know, maybe a top 10 wide receiver. Like, why are we treating him like he's hands down the best wide receiver in the league? Like, I don't understand the whole drama around it. I just think he needs to put up or shut up, kind of thing. And time for him to either say he's sitting out for the season, or he won't play, or figure something out. San Fran has to figure something out, because I'm just sick and tired of hearing about his name. It's another reason it's starting to become a thing where it's like, it's another reason why I don't want him to be on Buffalo, because I don't want to have to deal with another Stephon Diggs scenario where it's just drama all the time. He's starting to, in my eyes anyways, he's starting to kind of be like that, and just kind of like taking away from the football aspect of it and making it a personal thing, which is fine, but as a fan, it'll drive you nuts. So with that, we will take a quick little break, And when we get back, we got a couple fan questions to get into. So yeah, so we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys. So we'll wrap up the show here. We got some fan questions to get into. First one comes in from Shots from the Sideline. Another great show. You guys should go check them out on Twitter @shots @shotsft sideline. They're a great account. They're very knowledgeable. Post lots of great stuff on there. So definitely go check them out. Give them a follow. All that good stuff. So their question comes in saying, "I'd have one question for you because your Bills were a test for this. NFL expansion in recent years has been a topic, relocation, or straight out new teams. That said, would Toronto be the best place for an expansion team if they were to go international?" I feel like logistically, yeah, probably. Just because I guess it's probably the closest. Maybe somewhere in Mexico, but I don't think Mexico has an appetite for NFL football. I feel like traveling into Europe and down into Brazil like they're going to do this year, I think that's maybe a little bit too much. So I think if they're going to go international, then yes, Toronto probably does make the most amount of sense. Just from a logistics standpoint. And maybe if they did it differently than like just having the Bills play home games in Toronto like they did whatever it was 10 years ago, that was kind of just a waste of time. The players hated it. Didn't really work out that well. We had 3 or 4 games that were supposed to be home games that they played in Toronto instead. But overall, I think Canada, we're fine with the CFL. It's growing, so I don't think the appetite in Canada is for an NFL team. I think we're good. I know me personally, having a team here in Ottawa. I like to go to Red Blacks games. Keeping an eye on what they're doing is fun, and I think the travel down to go to Buffalo, to go to New York, to Baltimore, or anywhere really, it's kind of makes it a little bit more special to go down there and go see a game. So I think that if they're going to do an expansion, they should just put a team somewhere in the States. I think that makes the most amount of sense. The issue with if you're just going to get a new team, I think you have to add 2 just for numbers' sake. You have to expand twice. So relocation might make the most amount of sense. But then the issue with relocation is what city are you taking out? So I don't know. I think expansion is something that the NFL definitely, like, the owners want to do, because they obviously get a big chunk of cash for a team to buy into the NFL. But I just don't see it. I don't see it working out internationally for sure. And I don't necessarily see relocation working out. Like, I don't think there's a team that is struggling for attendance enough to warrant a relocation. So then the issue then becomes you have to have 2 cities buy in. You have to get 2 new owners, 2 new teams come in. So I think that expansion, as much as they might want it, is going to be a little bit more difficult than maybe they're thinking, unless you want to have an uneven number of teams in each conference, and then that kind of opens up a whole can of worms, which is what they have in the CFL. So the CFL only has 9 teams. So there's four in the Eastern Conference and 5 in the Western Conference. Top top three teams each make it, and then there's a crossover. So I think it's either top 2 or top 3. I'm pretty sure it's top 3 make it, and then a crossover potential. So if the 4th place team in the West is better than the 3rd place team in the East, then there's a crossover, and the team from the West will actually play in the Eastern Conference playoffs. It hasn't gone well for that crossover team. I mean, yeah, I guess you do make the playoffs, but they're the crossover team's record in the Eastern Conference playoffs is not good. Obviously, having to travel across the country to go play football games is not ideal. So they could work something like that out if they did a an uneven number of teams, but that just is it's a nightmare. It's hard for just when it's just 9 teams. I can imagine what it'd be like with 33 teams. So I think if they're going to do expansion, they're going to have to add 2 teams. I wouldn't really know where would be an area that makes sense. I don't think any of the other leagues. I mean, granted, it's not the NFL, but I don't think like the cities that had the XFL or the AFL or something like that, like those cities, they're not really getting the attendance to warrant getting a team. I feel like all the big cities already have a team there. I don't know where you would go, let alone finding 2. So I think expansion, as much as we all might want it, I think actually what they should be looking at instead of expansion is I think they should be looking at redoing the divisions so that they kind of make a little bit more sense geographically. I guess it's obviously tough when you have kind of so much open space with not a lot of people as the states do, and kind of down through the where are they there, the kind of where the Rockies come down through there, just where on the other side of Seattle all the way down through the country that way. If you look, there's lots of land mass there, but not a lot of population and not a lot of what would you like, not a lot of need for a football team there. And so it would be, I think, rejigging the conferences or the divisions so that kind of all the teams they all kind of line up. Like we could put Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Miami, probably Atlanta, kind of in that one team. We could have the Jets, Giants, Buffalo, New England be one, because then it kind of makes more sense. Dallas, Houston, Denver, they can kind of all be in and around the same area. Kansas City can be in there with them, and you can kind of do it that way. That feels like makes it a little bit more sense for me. But expansion, I don't know. I think it'll be tough. And then the next question, as always, Cowboy Reg comes through with a question for us. He says his family in upstate New York wants to know. They are apparently he's from upstate New York. He's told me that the Bills are his second team. He is a Cowboys fan. We won't hold it against him. But so he says he does have a soft spot for the Bills. So he says his family in upstate New York want to know, are the Bills feeling less or more pressure to win this season? Expectations seem to be lower, but what's the feeling amongst the Bills Mafia? I feel like our expectations are just as high as they ever were, and kind of as they should be. Like for me, I'm still expecting us to make the conference championship game. I think that's what we should be doing, and I think that's what we could do. But also, I think there's a little in every Bills fans. I think there's that little bit in the back of their head that, okay, this might not be our season, but we're definitely building for 2025, and we can get, second year Keon Coleman, second year Cole Bishop really take over that safety position that is a concern for us, and all those kinds of things. So I think yes, we're still going to win the division. We still want to host playoff games. We still want to make it to the conference championship, and I think that's kind of what the expectations are for them. I've said it before. I don't like the Super Bowl or bust narrative. That kind of drives me crazy. But as far as expectations go, I think we're pretty much. I think we have so much faith in Josh Allen and what he's capable of doing that we've seen him do great things with not that great talent around him. So, I think our expectations are what they've always been for the past 4 years, and we'll just see if we can get it done. Every year is our year, man. I think that's the gist of it. Okay, everyone. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you all for following along. Like I said, go X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that kind of stuff, all social media at Mafia Members Podcast on YouTube. Go like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Go check out the link in the Twitter bio for the Mafia Members Podcast store. And we will see you guys next time.